So what we're trying to accomplish tonight is to give you some information to successful compost and to highlight some of the benefits and bust the myths about composting, and probably help you along the way with those myths is how to get it to work for you. So in nature, what happens is the trees, the leaves, the plants, they die in the fall and they decompose, and it's decomposed through bacterium and fungus, and in the end what they leave is this stuff called humus. Okay, what we're going to get you guys, what you guys are doing is basically taking your yard waste and your kitchen organics, and you're doing the same process, except for you're providing a little area in order to do it in. So basically overall it improves your yard and your garden. Compost is not soil and it's not fertilizer. And our world of compost, it is actually known as soil amendment. So what it does is it enriches the soil to help plants grow. What it does is it reduces the use for fertilizers and herbicides. And what does that mean? Well, by using compost, you get to use less of these items. So you get to use less of fertilizer, so you shouldn't have to use it on in your plants or on your yard. And what do we mean by reducing herbicides? If you get your plants to grow nice and healthy, they can actually resist being attacked by bugs or by fungus or some type of disease. And that's one of the benefits of compost, is it helps plants to be nice and healthy and strong. And then of course it's slow release nutrients, and that's why it's different from fertilizers, because it's actually over time it slowly releases the nutrients that it has. And the other thing with compost is it comes with a whole bunch of other nutrients, whereas fertilizers are mainly nitrates and phosphorus base, whereas compost comes with boron, calcium, carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus. It comes with all these variety of nutrients which plants need in order to grow. And of course, if you're composting at home, you know what you're putting in it, and it is safe for children and pets to eat the finished compost because you haven't put anything harmful in there that can hurt them. And of course, it's for free. So if we can reduce your waste that you're putting at the curb, then we actually, in the long run, will reduce the need for the number of collection vehicles out on the road in order to pick up your garbage. What do we mean by landfill space? Well, if we're not burying your organics, then we're saving space in our landfill. So I'm going to get right into the composting aspect. We recommend for your composter that you place it in a convenient sunny spot. And what we usually mean by this is either it's half sun, half shade, or full sun, not full shade, because you're relying on the sun to help you along the way, to heat things up for you, okay? So the sun is a helper, okay? If you've chosen your spot correctly, it should be leveled and well drained. We recommend that when you're going to place your composter, that it's on soil, grass, concrete, but not wood and not vinyl. And the only reason why is wood warps and so would vinyl, because you know that the material that you're putting in there is pretty wet. The Kerry Wood Nature Center is actually selling composters, and they're actually selling, this is the design that the city's going with, and I believe it's $60 per composter. And then you can actually build your own. In that brochure from Alberta Environment, the one that you pull out, it's really long, it's actually quite a very good resource tool to look things up on. It does show you how you can build your various composter. So items that you can put in there. Greens. And what do we mean by greens? It means that they're nitrogen based. And I'm going to switch the little language around here a bit. What I really recommend people understand is that in your composter, the bugs that are chewing or eating your organics up, refer to them as your pets at this point, okay? Because your pets require food in order to live. If you don't give them the right food, they're not going to live in your composter, and they're not going to break your organics down, okay? So one of the things that they require is greens. And your pets are bacteria and fungus, and no, you cannot see them. You need a microscope and to visually see them, okay? So what do we mean by greens? It's all your fruit and your vegetable waste coming from your kitchen. We have grass clippings up there. Some other items that we don't have there, coffee grounds. Coffee grounds are awesome because they come with a lot of different nutrients, coffee grounds, for your finished compost. Tea. You can put tea in there. That includes the tea bags. Flowers from your garden, so you're cleaning your garden out in the fall time, so they can go in there. And the plants from your vegetable gardens can go in there. So these are your browns. What do we mean by browns? That means it's carbon based. So we have some shavings, coffee filters, and you notice that the coffee filters are brown, not white. The white ones are bleach, and again, all what you're doing is adding the bleach to your finished compost. Okay? Leaves, newspaper, and newspaper only. No magazines, no office white computer paper, anything like that. And the reason why is newspaper, the ink is vegetable base, whereas your magazines, glossy junk mail, flyers, white computer paper, that ink comes from, has more of a toxic substance to it. A brown cardboard box, you can also use that. And again, with these two items, the newspaper and the cardboard box, what you're doing is shredding. The newspaper, you're literally just putting it through a shredder, like a paper shredder, in order to get it fine enough in order for the bugs to decompose. A lot of people forget about the browns because where are you going to produce the most? The greens, the nitrogens. And a lot of people forget to put the browns in. So in the fall time, what I recommend to most people is bag your leaves. That way you have leaves year-round. So here are some other things that you need to do with your composter. And your pets really, really require it. Water. Why do they require water? Well, bacteria and fungus don't have legs. In order to move around in your composter, in order to eat the kitchen organics, they use water to move around. So if you don't water it, then they can't move around. And they literally just eat the one area, that is it, they die, okay? And what do we mean by watering? That doesn't mean that you go out and stand over top of your composter for an hour with a garden hose. What we recommend that you do is grab a handful. If you form a ball, you're doing good. If it falls to pieces, it's too dry. It's sort of like a wrung out sponge. That's what it should look like. Air. A lot of people don't do this. And what we mean by air is you literally have to turn your composter. Your kitchen organics that you're placing there, you actually have to turn it, mix it, and get the air in for those fungus and bacteria. If you don't give them air, then you get what I call the stinky bugs. And that's why your compost stinks. And of course, the sun. The sun just helps heats up. So we're going to talk about the recipe. So in this recipe that we're going to show you, and I'm actually going to put it all on. So if you're starting out and you're going to restart your composter, okay, what we recommend that you do is put a little layer of twigs. And what we mean by layer of twigs is it's smaller than my pinky, and that's pretty small. And you're going to build a little layer of that. And the reason why we're asking you to do that is it provides oxygen to get into the bottom and up. Then you usually do a layer of your browns, and then you're going to wet it down, because as I said, your twigs and your leaves are browns, and browns are really, really dry. So you're just going to water it down a bit. And then you're going to start adding your kitchen organics on top of that, which are your greens. And then if you're starting from scratch, this is where you add a shovel of dirt on top of it. Then you do a repeat, your browns, and then your greens again. Once you go through all these layers right here, turn it and water it. So we have some more resources. There's that brochure that you have that comes from Alberta Environment, and it's an awesome brochure that they've put out. You can always use this website to find out more.